There's a version of a coin pusher game that is so mythical, it's argued about to this day, claiming to have a huge amount of cash with massive risk and rules that hadn't been heard of before. And the truth behind it all? Well, it actually started with me over 8 years ago. If you've ever wondered if high-risk coin pushers were actually real, or how they suddenly appeared all across your video feed, this video will finally explain how it all began and reveal the whole truth behind it. Is there an actual high-risk coin pusher? My name is Josh, and this is my son Braden. 8 years ago, I posted the first video with the title High Risk Coin Pusher. So, did I make it all up? Or was I just the first person on YouTube to actually show one? To tell that story, I need to go back some time and explain how it all started. For the majority of my career, I worked in 911 as an EMT paramedic. We worked 24-hour rotating shifts, giving me 5 days off a week. About halfway into my career, I decided I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I ended up dipping my toes in a lot of different businesses around that time. But then 2010 came along, and that's when my son Braden was born, and my whole world had changed. I held off on the side business venture there for a while because I wanted to focus on just being a good dad. But when my son got a little bit older, I decided I'd like to step back into the small business world. This time, I needed something I could have my family a part of. So I came up with an idea of placing claw machines into local businesses, and eventually my wife and I decided to open up our own little arcade. Our first arcade was called Kids Debunking Family Fun Center. It started in a very small location. Eventually, after a while, the manager of a local mall came to me and they asked if we would be interested in moving our arcade to the mall. They really had hopes of bringing families back to the mall's dying industry. We were a little hesitant. It was a massive difference in rent, as you can imagine. Eventually, I talked my wife into agreeing to it, and that's what we did. One of the problems was that spot was so much bigger than what we already had. I needed a lot of games to fill this space. One of the things that I did is I searched on Marketplace, and I found a guy that was selling some claw machines at a really good price. So my dad and I, we loaded up Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And that's where I met a gentleman named Matt. You may know him as Arcade Matt or Matt 3756. We got to talking and we found out his full-time job was uploading videos of himself playing at arcades to YouTube. He was the first on YouTube to actually put out content like this. Best of all, what I learned is he actually got money to do this. So I was intrigued. I swapped information with him. He was such a good guy. And within a few months, we were ready to have our grand opening of our arcade, and Matt came up and did a video at our new place. I watched carefully how he did it. Also saw how popular his content was. So a light bulb clicked in my head, and I was thinking, if he's making videos of going to arcades, I should make a channel talking about what it's like to own an arcade. Now, if you go back 10 years on my channel, you can find these videos. They're pretty embarrassing. It was my first attempt at it, but maybe you shouldn't. At least that birthed my channel. And I must say at first it was not going too hot. I was trying different video ideas. One ended up being a truck stop that my son and I would stop at on our way home. Had a small little arcade in it. One of the coolest games in there, which was the most popular game they had, was a real money coin pusher. For me, I hadn't seen a coin pusher that paid real money in years. So I recorded a video of Brian and I playing the coin pusher and posted it to my new YouTube page. Now, to this point, my videos and skits that I was putting out on my channel, they were barely gaining any attention. However, my first pusher video that I did went pretty well. I kept playing and kept recording. Back then, no one else was putting out videos of just real money coin pushers, so I kind of had a monopoly going. On a return trip that I went to Pittsburgh hanging out with Matt and my new friend Joe, Matt was complimenting how well my channel was doing and the success it was getting. And he ended up giving me some advice. He said, if I was you, I would maybe stop doing the skits and just focus on the coin pushers. no one else was doing it. Like I said, that ended up being pretty good advice. So I listened. After a while of just putting out videos of the coin pusher, the channel just kept on going higher and better. Eventually, looking for new video ideas, I turned to the viewer comments to see what else they wanted to see. And one of the biggest comments I got was, use a magnet, like a possible cheat code or hack or something. Now, I already knew US quarters were made primarily of copper and nickel, so a magnet would really have no effect. But I got this comment so much, I just went ahead and did the video. Now, a little funny side note about this, not knowing too much about magnets, I went to my son's fish tank and took his glass cleaning magnet out, which hindsight is very weak, but needless to say, it didn't work. But after I posted the video, then man, that video went crazy. My views went from like maybe a couple hundred to like almost 1 million views on that video. One thing I did notice later on is when I would put out my regular coin pusher videos, the higher amount that I said I won on the coin pusher, the better the videos did. So how I would work it out back then was I would just record multiple videos, just kind of jam them all together so I could make titles like I won $60 on the coin pusher. But now we have to meet Jeff. If you have been a part of my channel for some time, the OGs as I call you, you know who Jeff is. Jeff ran a local car repair shop that was owned by his family. His family in our area, the true definition of entrepreneurs. They owned and invested in just about any form of business you could imagine. One of the popular places that was growing in my area at this time was these small little gambling spots that had the state-owned slot machines in them. The owners would rent the machines from the state and they made a ton of money from them. Well, Jeff knew I did social media, but he never knew the context of what exactly I did. So the majority of people in the area, including my family, didn't know what I did. I was not very transparent to anybody for a lot of reasons. When Jeff found out what I did, he loved it. He came up with an idea. Jeff said, I think I can help you out with your videos. See, one of Jeff's friends owned a bar that had these state-owned slot machines in it, but they also had a coin pusher that the members of this place would play to win free drink chips. Sometimes they would also play for real prizes and money. It was only for members. Jeff said, I can get you in recording on that, and we can set this thing up with games that no one has ever seen before. So this is how it all started. He had them set up like $200 games, and we would do battles against each other. It was just truly a load of fun. I recorded a ton of videos, then the footage back home and was ready to put out these videos. I knew they were going to do great, but I needed a catchy clickbait title. What in the world can I call these new coin pushers? And a name kept coming to my head. An area I had seen in casinos, but I normally kept walking by. High Limit Slots. It's a cool name. It always stands out, but if I was going to use something like that, I needed to change it up a tad. So the name High Risk came to mind. Bam. The first video I put out from playing at Jeff's place, I titled it Playing a High Risk Coin Pusher. And there you have it. 8 years ago, those chain of events birthed the YouTube videos, High Risk Coin Pushers. And just as I hoped, it went crazy viral. Like millions of views. Other channels were talking about it. Heck, I was even getting emails from places like Lad Bible, along with a lot of others asking if they could just put out highlight clips of that video. Shoot, I even had a famous rapper share that video. Now, understand this. Transparency is big for me. I was willing to put some clickbait titles out there because that's just what people did. But I didn't want to lie. Naturally, people started to have questions like, where do you find these things at? And no way this is real. Or what casino has this? But the biggest one I got was fake. This loser is playing in his mommy's basement. It was something Brie and I had never seen before. At first, those comments really affected, especially Brie. And being a dad, I had so many thoughts going through my head, like finding these people and talking to them in person. You know, what dads do. I've never been in this situation before. never had this kind of global attention to a video. I tried my best to explain what it was and tried to prove, hey, I'm being honest. I put a video out showing that it wasn't at my house, and the comments were still saying, well, he must own the casino, or he owns the truck stop he's playing at. I laughed, thinking, yeah, I wish I did. But what do I say? It's a private member-only place. I have never seen another one like this outside of a carnival cruise I took 12 years prior. I also couldn't really reveal where I was playing exactly because I knew that as soon as people found out, people from all over would be coming to Jeff's friend's bar, expecting to come in to play this crazy high-limit coin pusher themselves. So my response, well, I just said very little. I tried to word it honestly, but I found it hard to word at all. Besides, the truth behind it, it was set up mainly to win vouchers for free beer, and now they would set games up for me. It was like a one-off. Then after a while, a bigger issue came about. Not sure if it was from the attention that my videos were gaining, but the state lottery came in and found out that this bar had a coin pusher in it, and they said, if you want to have state lottery games in here, that coin pusher has to go. So, whammy. I lost my spot. But Jeff, being the man he was, he came up with another idea. See, his family owned a bingo hall, and his idea was, let's just set it up there. We can record when bingo's not going on. So that's what we did. I invited other content creators to travel up and record videos since this was more public, and even invited people from the channel to come up and play with me, hoping that the people watching would think this is legit. But negative comments still came in. The good thing was the people who watched the most, they knew the truth. Then a chain of events happened that changed myself and the channel forever. First, and the worst, my best friend Jeff, who was now like my sidekick with Bray and I on the channel, the person who created these videos for me, he had a very bad problem. See, Jeff had a very bad heart, and he had been dealing with this for years, but it was getting worse. Got to the point he needed a heart transplant. Because of his age, he was so far down on the list, the actuality of him getting a heart was next to none. And see, Jeff understood this, and he respected. By this point, him, Bray, and I started a weekly live stream with the three of us, and the viewers just grew to love Jeff. He even created his own channel. Sadly, during a routine procedure, Jeff unfortunately passed away, and I lost my best friend. I won't go too far into that because that's not what this video is about, but I do have a video out about Jeff on my channel. If you'd like to hear more about his story, you can go back and watch it. Now, as devastating as that was, another issue had been slowly coming up in the background too. See, we created the name and concept of the high-risk coin pusher, and also knew intimately the amount of effort that went into it to make it legit. That's when I discovered other channels getting created, all with the titles, playing a high-risk coin pusher. Usually it was followed with like an absurd amount of money that they were claiming to win. They were coming out of the woodwork. Some were already big channels that just switched over to that, and others were like starting just from that concept alone, and the theme was getting more and more far-fetched and crazier. I very seriously doubted the concept that Jeff and I had created was just all of a sudden popping up everywhere like they already existed. Some of the channels even mimicked my West Virginia accent, which made other people think that it was me. So it went from me stretching the truth, but the truth nonetheless, to now I'm getting grouped in with all these other channels. Not only did I lose my best friend who facilitated these videos for me, but I also had all these new channels that were now a thing. And as a result of the rapid growth of all these videos, some other content creators with a little bit of common sense started putting out videos and unfortunately grouped all of us together, pretty much debunking the whole concept. I will say this, I will never say, nor do I think, all of these channels are full of it. I know personally some of them are real as it gets, and they're great people, but we were all grouped into one just from one or several bad apples out there. That's been over 5 years now, and that is still my dilemma. And the majority of people think it's just all fake. After a while, I decided to take a long break. I tried to come back a couple times, but I just got discouraged every time. But listen, I created this, all in good intentions. I'm not ready to throw in the towel yet. So after some deep thought, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to come back in a new format Since I created this whole thing, Jeff and I want to be the person who brings it back to reality again. The only way for me to do that effectively is to put this video out, telling it all, the truth, my truth. And also again say this, I will never say for sure what every other channel doing is real or fake. Highlight, I know several of these other channels and the people I can say are 100% real, and some of them I consider good friends. But let's end with this. You know my truth now. Trust your instincts. If you don't care either way and find those other channels relaxing and enjoy the content they put out, I say that's great, but now you know my truth. See, sadly, majority of what you see anymore on social media is fake anyways. Moving forward, I'm heading in a different direction. Honesty truly means something to me, and I want to innovate. I hope you will support my new direction. But now, to understand what my channel, Joshua Bartley, really is about, I was also forced to make a new YouTube page, linked below, which is where all my new content is going. But I still have my Facebook page, the Joshua Bartley, that's still up and going. And I thank all of you all who have stood by me over the years and never let the haters get them down either, and trusted me. So now let's start the next chapter, and I hope you all enjoy it. Thank you guys.